Hello students, let us go through one more sum. This time the sum is based on the total amount to be distributed among students. Now what exactly is this? Let's try to understand that. The sum is a certain amount is equally distributed among certain number of students. Each would get rupees 2 less if 10 students were more, and each would get rupees 6 more if 15 students were less. Find the number of students and the amount distributed, right? Now you all must be a little confused with regards to this, what exactly is happening. So let us first try to understand what exactly is this. See, the question is find the number of students and the amount distributed. Now I am sure you must be wanting to write let the number of students be x and let the amount distributed be y. What you are thinking is right, there is nothing wrong in that, but we will change it a bit. Now what change? Why are we changing? So that your calculations become easy. You can take the number of students as x and the amount distributed as y and solve the sum, but it will become a little complicated, right? So what exactly it is? Let's try to understand that. Okay. Now see, say 40 rupees is to be distributed. That's the total amount that we are supposed to distribute, something which you are supposed to find, the amount distributed, right? Now say there are 2 students. So the number of students are 2. So can we say if 40 is the total amount to be distributed and there are 2 students, so each child will get 20 rupees, right? So 20 for this child and 20 for this child, right? So basically in this sum there are 3 things. 1, the number of students which we are supposed to find. 2, how much is the amount each child is getting. And 3, what is the total amount distributed is what we are supposed to find. So there are 3 things in this sum, right? And the entire equation, everything depends on these 3 things. 1, the total amount distributed. 2, the number of students. And 3, how much the each child is getting. Okay. Now say for example, there are 2 students. So each child gets 20 rupees. So we can say 2 into 20 is equal to the total amount distributed, that is 40, right? Similarly, in place of 2, if there were 4 students, so if the number of students are increasing, what happens? Each child is getting 10 rupees instead of 20 rupees. So if the number of students increases, each child is getting less amount. This is what the whole sum is. The total amount remains the same. Whether it is given in the sum or not, it is understood that the total amount is remaining the same, unless and until they give that it is not remaining the same, right? So total amount remains the same, which is 40 rupees. Number of students are increasing, so each child is getting less amount. That is what the sum is. The number of students increases, each child gets less amount. Number of students decreases, each child gets more amount, because the total amount distributed is remaining the same. Is this thing clear? So there are 3 things. Here this time it is there are 4 students, each child is getting 10 rupees and the total is 40 rupees. So we come to a formula as far as this sum is concerned, that the number of students into amount given to each student is equal to the total amount distributed, right? So just write this formula. This is important. 3 things. This is how they are related, that the number of students into the amount each student is given is equal to the total amount distributed. So rather than assuming the number of students and the amount distributed as x and y, what we suggest is let the number of students be x and let the amount each student is given be y. So this is x, this is y, so total amount distributed automatically becomes x into y. Right? And what are we supposed to find? We are supposed to find the value of x and we are supposed to find the value of x into y, xy. Is this thing clear? Is the sum clear? If this is clear, then equation formation is not a problem at all, because equation condition is number of students increasing, the amount given to each child decreasing, and the total amount is remaining the same. That is what the sum is. Start is very important. What is x and what is y? So here, as I said, let the number of students be x and let the amount each student is given be y. So the total amount distributed will become x into y, which is equal to xy. Okay, and what are we supposed to find? We are supposed to find the value of x and we are supposed to find the value of xy. Is this thing clear? So, number of students x, amount each student is given y. So, total amount distributed is rupees xy. Let's do it. Amount given to each student is rupees y, total amount distributed is rupees xy. Don't forget to write the units. Okay, let's do it. Each would get rupees 2 less. So, amount each child is getting is 2 rupees less if 10 students were more. So, if 10 students were more, the number of students are x. If 10 students were more, that is x plus 10, each would have got 2 rupees less, that is y minus 2. Each would have got 2 rupees less. So, 10 students more, x plus 10, each would have got 2 rupees less. So, y minus 2. So, x plus 10 into y minus 2, the total amount distributed is the same as I said is equal to xy. That is your first equation. Easy, right? Now, let us open the brackets, simplify this. How do we do it? You multiply x with both the terms first, you get xy minus 2x, then you multiply 10 with the other bracket, you get 10 into y, that is 10y, and 10 into minus 2, that is minus 20, is equal to xy. xy gets cancelled, and what we get is minus 2x plus 10y is equal to 20. Let us divide throughout by 2 to simplify this further. You get minus x plus 5y is equal to 10. Let this be the first equation. Easy, right? Second condition is also very similar. Now, it says each would have got 6 rupees more if 15 students were less. If 15 students were less, so it will become x minus 15. 15 students were less. Each would have got 6 rupees more. Each would have got 6 rupees more, that is y plus 6. So, x minus 15 into y plus 6 is equal to, the total amount distributed is the same as I have already explained, right. Now, let us open the brackets. What we get is x into y, that is xy, x into 6, that is 6x, minus 15y minus 90 is equal to xy. xy gets cancelled. What remains is 6x minus 15y is equal to 90. To simplify this further, we can divide throughout by 3 and we get 2x minus 5y is equal to 30. Let this be the second equation. Two very easy equation if you have understood the initial thing, and this formula is very important. Hope you all have written this formula already, right. Now, let us add the two equations, because as you all can see, the coefficient of x is not the same, but coefficient of y is exactly the same, right. So, we can eliminate y and the signs are different. So, we need to add the two equations, right. Let us add equation 1 and 2. That is your first equation. That is your second equation. Let us add plus 5y minus 5y will get cancelled. Minus 2x minus x plus 2x is x, because the bigger number is positive, and 10 plus 30 is 40. So, x is equal to 40. Once you get the value of x as 40, substitute x is equal to 40 in the first equation. What we get is minus 40 plus 5y is equal to 10. So, 5y is equal to 10 plus 40, 5y is equal to 50. You get y is equal to 10. 50 upon 5, which is 10. You get x is equal to 40. You get y is equal to 10. You just need to write the final answer. But in the final answer, what we want is, we want the value of x and we want the value of xy, because we want the total amount distributed, right. So, before you write the final answer, don't forget to find the total amount distributed, that is x into y, which is equal to 40 into 10, which is equal to 400. So, your final answer will be, therefore, the number of students are 40 and the total amount distributed is rupees 400. These are the two things that we want. As simple as that.